the cooperation between John the philosopher and me the practitioner. Of course, it's a false dichotomy. The more we practice, the more we refine our thinking. It's more accurate to say that Jim the practitioner has philosophy inside his practice, just as John the philosopher has practice embedded in his ways of thinking. Before we started offering seminars together, I suggested that John take part in our work as a family therapist, so we could bring our ways of practicing together into the real life experience of therapy. This joint action of trying to provide a useful service for people pushes abstract theorising of an event into the long grass, leaving room to work directly inside the emergent atmosphere and the complexities of real-time practice. Chikeen, who's another influence in my practice, and many of us here, used to say, when we enter the therapy room, it's a good idea to leave your theories at the door. Because we attend to what is happening right now, not trying to superimpose a model onto the people seeking our help. John's work focuses attention on the minute detail of what, as he says, just happens, and emphasises spontaneity and responsiveness in our dealings as therapists. In saying this, I'm also a practitioner who uses ideas, theories, techniques, and all the rest of the therapist's repertoire to help me to figure out how best to go on in our work. A phrase that you used to quote from the late Tom Anderson. Spontaneous responsiveness comes from a rigorous form of preparedness to be open to what just happens. And in seminars, John is inclined to demonstrate this idea, as Sheila was saying, by performing as a tennis player preparing for the big match against his opponent, rehearsing and trying out his strokes, so that in the actual performance, the tennis player spontaneously responds to what his opponent's trick shots and strokes fire at him. The tennis player is prepared, but he has not planned in the sense of deciding beforehand exactly how things will go. The point is about noticing what may be useful or called for within any emerging context. John, the person whose words and the saying of them are not separate items. John's writings are complex because our ways of meeting with others in life is simply complex. He shines a light on the nuances of how we are in touch with one another, and there are two particular ways in which his work has provided a rich stimulus to my practice over the years. The first inspiration is in appreciating more fully that meeting with another person is a profoundly human endeavour. We are not simply talking heads. We do not meet as if in an experiment. The emphasis placed on embodied responsiveness draws the practitioner towards a more three-dimensional, rounded engagement with clients that prefigures cognition about what is going on in human communication. The second inspiration is the coupling of John's appreciation of witness thinking and doing with a socio-political critique of theories that categorise and objectify human beings. He says, we're old socialists, he pronounced at a workshop we were both doing. I thought, well, speak for yourself. He's quite right. We're old socialists, he tells workshop participants, and so we are. Here is the political activist and shortest critique of academia. To my eyes, John thrives in the fertile borderlands of any discipline or organisational terrain. Therapists can also do the same. The dweller on the borderlands needs to be rooted enough in the culture of a discipline, but free enough to move and challenge those barren areas of thought and action that fail to grasp alternative ways of seeing or noticing contradictions to dominant ideologies. For the family therapist, this is where irreverence, experimentation and creative doubt find confluence with John's tributaries of upstream thinking. His is a critical voice within academic psychology, and it can be a lonely place. And he finds filial connection with therapists like me who do the same with respect to orthodoxies and therapy practices. John's position, to me, is to provide provocative challenges to those who would have us believe that science will provide all the answers to complex matters of human experience. His is a form of courage, seen not as fearlessness, but rather as a form of wise fear that leads us to action, because what we believe in is worth pursuing rather than to remain in silence. He may be a conversational junkie, but if so, his addiction is to point to something better in the ways we try to be in touch with one another. Instead of hunting for definitive truths after the fact, we instead give priority to the immediacy of connection and the possibilities that emerge from what may be the most ordinary of beginning exchanges. Everyday conversational exchanges become a rich source of appreciation in John's thinking, and indeed such apparently ordinary everyday occurrences are highly significant in the way we meet with another person. If the meeting is imbued with problem talk or only of diagnostic categories, our conversation becomes thinned down, missing opportunities for connection that can come from a gesture or a small, hesitantly offered expression. John's work draws us to the importance of these so-called ordinary experiences and their importance in binding the social matrix of participants. Informal, ordinary chat is not the precursor to getting down to the serious business of problem talk. It's quite the reverse. The meeting is the medium in which possibilities begin to arise and take shape. John's philosophical critiques provide antidotes to the drudgery of repeat prescriptions of so much prescribed practices that threaten to dehumanise what we do. He invites practitioners to see there is more in our being with others than meets the manualised eye. In so doing, we are encouraged to look to the many possibilities in how we connect with a sense of hospitality towards our clients. He is in effect saying, after you. As you can see, I play the guitar, and just an anecdote. Is this okay? Is it doing me? All right?
Yeah, so I'm trying to get...
That's okay. So if I do that, I play the guitar. Recently I was invited to sit in with other musicians who had played together as a group. They played for many years. And the band allowed me to join them, but I was the new kid on the block, so to speak. Some kid. So I had to make sure that I didn't put myself forward in too pushy a manner. At the same time, though, I had to show I could measure up. And sitting back too much would also be a mistake. So instead I waited. I waited to hear what others were playing, and I tried the best I could to add something to what was already being played. I had to be an accompanist. However, at a certain point, the group leader gave me the nod. The signal that I was invited to take a solo, which I did with relish. Later, I pondered on this sequence and wondered what had led the group leader to give me the nod, and he did. Unfortunately, I met him a couple of months after the gig, and I was able to ask him the question that was on my mind. He thought for a moment before saying, I listen. I listen to what everyone is doing, and when I listen, I can hear what could work. So then I gave you the nod. This is an expression of relational knowing, not the atomised business of separating out the individual musicians into their specific contributions, but a response to what the music needed at that moment. The nod is what we wait for from our clients. It's these special invitational moments that John helps practitioners to really focus attention. He points us to look at what emerges in our responsiveness, not what we should do to make the other respond. In effect, it's an invitation to improvise. One of John's shorterisms that Sheila picked up from the paper and repeat was fits here: ask not what goes on inside a person's head, but ask what their heads go inside of. So in preparing for this talk, I realised that John's influence has been incremental. I hear him talk, we share ideas, and I read his work. But But it was when I was asked to make this presentation on his influences that I had the opportunity to really take stock and thought more about it. And this exercise has not only allowed me to articulate John's influences, but to show my deep appreciation of your contribution, John, to my work and the stimulation that your work offers others. However, to orientate myself towards not just our collegiate relationship, but the friendship that has come with playing and performing together, I'm going to attempt to sing a song. It's by John Martin, and it's about friendship, it's about loyalty, and it's a wish for a better way of being and becoming in the world. So I'm going to have a time to sing that, if that's okay. May you never lay your head down without a hand to hold. May you never lay your bed up in the cold. Just like a big strong brother to me, I know that your love is true. And you don't talk dirty behind my back, and I know that there's those that do. Please, won't you bear it in mind that love is a lesson from the God. Please, won't you bear it in mind for me? May you never lay your head down without a hand to hold. May you never lay your bed up in the cold. Just like a big strong sister to me, I know that your love is true. And you don't hold that against me, and I know that there's those that do. Please, won't you bear it in mind that love is a lesson to love in God. Please, won't you bear it in mind for me? May you never lay your head down without a hand to hold. May you never lay your bed in the
Apparently, I meant to say something. Oh, Jim, oh, Jim.
Can I say while you're thinking about that? One of the things that John and I did was we did a summer school in Tromsø some years ago. And it was the first Tromsø, the summer school we did, organised by the late Tom Anderson, and we were doing 2 or 3 days together. And we had a really nice time, and on the way back in the car, taken to the airport, I discovered that John was also born in Glasgow, which is my home city. So we're actually both Glaswegian. So as Justine and some others will know, that sometimes when we've been together and had celebrations, this so-called spontaneous responsiveness of singing "I Belong to Glasgow" is part of our duet. So yeah, that was special. Anyway.
And I am even more of a non-singer than Jim.
Thanks, Jonathan.
But Jim actually induced me to sing in public. Oh, I'm not going to, I can't really. But I loved your story from the leader of the other musicians, and that moment of recognition, and the fact that he was able to remember it. What did you say? 3 weeks afterwards?
It was a couple of months after.
A couple of months after.
You remember the actual moment?
And that was what has struck me about these kind of special moments. Not only are they kind of full of detail, but that he could describe its character, but they're memorable. They're moments that sort of matter to the people who experience them in some way. Yeah.